What's up, people? It's your girl Anana, and welcome to another series. Why am I tossing my head like this? Yeah, new freezer. Ooh. Hi guys, it's your girl Anana. Welcome to another series of late night talk where we talk raw and we talk a bear. Okay. I might come up with a better catchphrase. Let me know if you got bars. Drop them below. But tonight, push those thoughts. Get your journals out. Because we're really gonna actually dig today. It's more of an interactive thing. You can interact with me, with each other. But it's really like, don't just watch this. You won't gain as much out of it if you just watch than as if you actually attach your emotional relationship to it. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. So if you attach an emotional relationship, so you can just relate it to things that are relatable to you, to things you have personally experienced, you'll gain so much more out of this. And we're really here to dig. So get your journals, get your pencils, and let's dig. Let's begin. I'm pretty sure you've heard the saying, where focus goes, energy flows, which is truly just a basic important thing, like back to the root and just nature of things. When we tend to put our attention onto something, we become more aware of it because we send whole messaging to our whole body that, hey, this thing is important, I want to see this, or I'm conceiving a certain idea. So now everything in my body, everything in my belief system is trying to prove me that this thing is right, or whatever circumstance is present, that a scenario is present. For instance, that person is looking at you. If you're feeling some type of way about yourself, whether it be confidence wise, your whole psyche is already focused on the fact that, hey, I look weird, or I'm not confident in my looks or appearance, whatever. Let's take it lightly and start with that. So then you go out in the street and someone's looking at you, and for you, now you have a projection and you project onto them that they're looking at you because you look weird. When really, you just confirmed your own concept, your own idea from someone who has done an action that maybe has nothing to do with you, maybe does, but that's none of your business. People will do what people will do, but you'll never truly get an answer. The main thing is, how is your belief system limiting you through your day to day? What is it shifted on? What is it geared towards, right? Because as light as that example may feel, for some people this may be very triggering anxiety. For some people this may be the reason why they will actually wake up 5 hours earlier and take a deroute bus so that they don't get to cross eyes with people. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes really taking steps back and seeing first, where is my energy at? Where is my intention onto? Same thing goes for comparison, right? When you compare yourself to other people and you put your attention on what's lacking of you, you always end up tearing yourself down, right? Which is actually, anyways, another topic in terms of jealousy. But jealousy in itself is not a bad thing. It's like, okay, hold on. It feels off, but it's not a bad thing. If we take emotions for what they really are signals that are meant to travel and just alarm us of certain things that are going on. Some have a more positive connotation, of course, feel better. Say if you really like something, or if something tastes good and you're like, that hits the spot, you know. But still, feelings of jealousy or envy, these are actually just telling you that there's something that you like, something you're passionate about that matters to you, that you are not doing, and you have the force to see a light within somebody else, or you see that thing within someone else, and now you feel as if, oh, I didn't have it, or I didn't push it. Which, you know, if we take it from not a finite thing, if you really take it more as a signal of what it is calling for, it's actually telling you, I really care about that thing. So it's just showing you things that you actually love. It's showing you things that you like. on if we could be better at reorienting ourselves and not seeing ourselves as finite as much, and defining our identity right away from the get-go of, say, someone that is lacking, and instead look at it through a lens of action. It could possibly look at it more and think, oh, so these are things that I could also do, right? Because that person did it. How awful would it be for that person to want to do that thing and not do it, you knowing very well how it feels? So this also really helped me see for myself, like, oh, like, say if I'm envious of how some people are pushing certain ideas and how free and they are in saying some things that I'm like, what? Like, I would have like calculated for 4 hours, read the room, make sure that I can say this, try a few, and some people are just like, blah. And now I just feel like, damn, like, it really is that easy. But, in some circumstances, it can also trigger that kind of envy of like, damn, like, why don't I do it? Like, what the hell is wrong with me? And now that can trigger a whole loop. And this loop is no bueno, right? Because it keeps going and going and going. And it goes into the same limiting patterns. And then what do? We confirm our limitations. What do? We confirm our limitations because our energy goes into our limitation. So instead, when looking at things that you actually like or envy or crave, look at them still through the lens of like, these are things that I like, these are things that I love. So this is just a presence of love that, instead of associating it to lack, associate it to possibilities. You can write this down. So when feeling jealous, this is a signal that there's something that I want to do that I am not doing, or something that I want to have that I am not doing action towards. It's not you that is lacking. There's just something that can be done. It's a possibility. There is a possibility. So, yeah. And often this is actually what's limiting us, is not being able to see the possibilities, because our attention and the questions we're asking ourselves are geared towards lack. Why me? Why didn't I do this? Why can't I do this, right? So there's already an answer in the questions that we ask ourselves. And that answer is not actually helping us going somewhere. Like, where do you go when you tell yourself, well, why can't I express myself? Where do you go when you tell yourself, oh, why can't I be pretty, right? Why can't I understand finances, right? You're already limited. Your answer is actually confirmed by a limitation. So you can write this down. Which limiting questions do I ask myself, right? And it could be on the daily, it could be maybe when you're having downs or when you're having mental spirals, right? Because often enough, you'll probably realize that it's often similar loops. And these loops, why are you still going back to these loops? Because there are limited beliefs that you still need to free yourself from, right? It's not bad. It's fine. It's just actually acknowledging that those limited beliefs are coming back. They're still here telling you that there's a behavior, there are actions, there are thought processes that you are not aware of, that you are not bringing your attention to in a way that you can actually empower yourself to move forward. So the same way, for instance, in the previous video, I was talking about feeling insufficient. So for me, a limiting question I would often tell myself is, oh, well, why can't I do better? Or in the previous video when we were talking about fear, I was talking about, for me, one of my consuming fears that comes back often is the feeling of insufficiency. So feeling insufficient and not doing enough. And it's something that is very consuming. And a thought or a limiting belief or a limiting question that I would often go through when I go through those patterns is, oh, what have I done? I don't ever do anything. Or I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing anything. I could have done more. And I mean, question form, statement form, Like, often these things just, there's no other way, right? So when you tell yourself, oh, what have I even done? Like, even that question, like, what have I even done, is like, I'm not trying to see or value any answer. Even if you would to answer me, I would not value any answer you give me. So I would not value any answer I would give myself. Even if I could state things like, oh, well, girl, you did this, you did that, you did this today. Like, what are you talking? No, I don't care about that. I already have an answer. The question itself is limited. It's just limited to, I already have a direction. The energy is already negative. The energy is already down. So often it's really asking ourselves the questions of, how can I improve even the question, right? So perhaps gearing towards, what can I do better? And what am I proud of accomplishing today, okay? What did not get to yet, right? Yet. Very important sometimes. Just allowing yourself space through time to do other things and to grow through things, especially to grow through things, because often we place that pressure onto ourselves of like, oh, I am not there, I haven't done this, I haven't done that. Fam, yet, right? And within that process, now it's still your responsibility to do something and to take action and change your behavior, and not just tell yourself one day, tomorrow, right? Because tomorrow never really ever comes. It's just a bunch of sequenced days. Like, every day is just a bunch of sequenced days. So how you act today, what you care about today, will be reflected in what you choose to do tomorrow, right? Because it goes back again to having certain loops, having certain things this place is important into your brain, into your mind, and your subconscious takes you there. So if ever you want to place change, not only do you have to do something different, but at the core, you have to change how your mind is thinking about things. You have to change how that pathway is actually automated, because more than 40% of our actions actually just come from habits that are registered in our subconscious. And think about it this way. So all of your neurochemistry is used to activating certain thoughts, right? And if your energy always goes to this, then this is now a connection that you've made inside your head. And humans, we love connecting dots. Like, we are dot connecting machines. We love to make sense out of things. Now what happens is, when you have these things that are always kind of aligning, but they're not helping you grow, is that subconsciously you stay stuck there. Growth seems very far away. But however, all it takes, as hard as it is, complex, hard, but still simple to say, is just derouting things one at a time. Yeah? And you can think about it as like many dots on the line. Just by derouting this, you created new possibilities. And that's major importance. And one thing I like to say to myself is that my mind is a powerful weapon. And if I gear it against myself, it will take me down. And that's something that for me, I have to remind myself of. And I kept telling myself, because if I gear it towards a target of where I want to go, I'll get there. I'm a Taurus, so it just makes sense for me to think that way, I guess. It's like, if you go towards and what's uncomfortable is getting out of this. But it's possible. It just takes for us to believe enough to conceive something that is out of our habits. And one quote that I really love, and that's a great question, is, what limitations have I accepted for myself? And you can write this down. What limitations have I accepted for myself? Because at the end of the day, limited beliefs are not just thoughts. There are thoughts that you have accepted and associated to a certain truth. Maybe it did serve you at some point in time. Maybe healing and trauma. But the more and more you heal, the more and more you also have to grow away from things, or to grow through certain things, right? And often we still hold on to the same limiting beliefs that we held in one circumstance, but they do not serve us into the next circumstances. So it's blocking stages of your life. It's blocking your expansion. So allow yourself to break free from certain limitations, and just to even acknowledge, right? That's a big step. Just like writing it down and actually acknowledging that this limitation was actually it's a belief that I set onto myself in some way, right? Or that I've accepted. Maybe as a trainer, it's, oh, well, I can't eat healthy because, example, I'm Haitian. I can't eat healthy, our food. But I'm like, no, you can eat Haitian food and still be healthy. But accepting that and just not taking responsibilities and not taking actions, it's way easier. Like, it's like having an excuse to save your butt, basically, right? It's way easier. It's harder to get out of your loops. It's harder to get out and actually ask yourself the questions, or even face the questions, right? So asking yourself the right question. I think it's such a key topic, just to grow in general, because the more and more we can ask ourselves the right questions, the more we can actually come face to face with what it is that first we are passionate about, what it is that we actually want to seek into our life, and what behaviors do we have that is actually limiting us? What behaviors do we have that are sabotaging, basically, to our expansion, right? Like, these are the thoughts that you are thinking, and it's really important to be able to see when they are limiting, because we all have lights, we all have insecurities, also we all have our own darknesses. But the more and more we can actually ask ourselves questions that will allow us to make the actions to move forward. What can I do better? What can I improve on? Why do I care about this? Right? Like, these are really like small little things, but the answers to these are actually really powerful. They'll tell you where to go, and we are our biggest guides. Like, we don't realize it. Our intuition, our thoughts, these are our biggest guides. Like, think about it this way. How can I direct my thoughts so that they are serving me? How can I direct my attention so that it serves the expansion or the direction in which I want to grow? Seeing what skills you can develop, because then you're surrounded by possibilities. And what often happens is that we're so caught up into our identity that we forget that we can learn from anything and everything. And sometimes it's just asking, okay, what are the skills maybe that I would need to learn from, right? So for example, if you're scared of talking in front of a class, right, and maybe that brings you anxiety, okay, what are skills that I could learn from to better express myself? Maybe it's reading for vocabulary, Maybe it's listening to podcasts to just hear other people, how they express their different characters. Maybe it's taking a freestyle dance class where you actually learn through movement, to just express, rawfully, in a raw way. Like, it's okay to not be where you want to be yet, but to still see possibilities. That's your duty. Like, the more and more we put ourselves into a box and associate ourselves to limits, the less we can get creative and see what opportunities are next to us, right? And if our attention is more onto what we're not than what we could do, then all of the answers that we're gonna get are just gonna be on what we are not, what we can't do, instead of actually asking ourselves what we can do. Yeah, like, even say I can't go to the gym right now. Okay, but you have a body, you can move, right? Like, there's so many things that we can do, but we're so quick to associate ourselves to the limit. Again, scratching the surface, late night talk, my voice is almost out. But still, like, I think it's really important to even just get on to those questions, right? Get on to asking ourselves what limiting beliefs have we allowed to set us back today, last week, this week. And I think that's the beginning stage of just breaking free and just growth. And in order to rise, you have to know where you're at. Like, we have to be able to acknowledge where we are at, what's around us, the answers we can get from around us before trying to rise up and actually heal and grow from those things, and not just hold on to them as if we are meant to stay there. We're not meant to stay here. As overwhelming as it can be around us, we're not meant to stay here. There's so much more to us, right? So I hope this talk helped bring up some lights to some of the darknesses. But the more we talk about them, the more we also allow ourselves to realize and to just be aware, right? We live in such a world that's so full of distractions, and it's easy to just go for the cotton candy and watch cat videos. Shout out to you. If you watched me instead of your cat video today, you're awesome. But yeah, like, often trying to go away from ourselves because it's uncomfortable. But within ourselves, the more we're comfortable with asking ourselves those questions, reflecting, writing them down, seeing our thoughts on paper, even drawing our thoughts, whichever it is, like, the more we can actually, discover who we truly are. And I think it's amazing. Self-discovery is really our biggest contribution. Anywho, so scratching the surface, late night talk. It's your girl Anana. You know the do's. It's a YouTube video, so don't forget to like, subscribe, comment below, share it with your pals and peoples, and let people know that there are good questions to ask, that there's more to them. Again, thank you so much for watching. Really do take care. All right, and rise up and stay empowered.